once again has been caught being even dumber than we thought. Watch as she claims blacks in America have it worse than women in Iran. Roll it, Phyllis.
Let's just remember, too, the Iranians literally throw gay people off of buildings. They don't adhere to basic human rights.
Listen, here's the thing. Let's not do that, because if we start with that, we have been known in this country to tie gay folks to the car.
I'm sorry, but where the Iranian regime is today in 2025 is nothing compared to the United States.
What do you get when Greg Gutfeld and Tyrus tag team Tam like it's a no-holds-barred WWE showdown? Only their challenger is the last flickering ember of Whoopi Goldberg's credibility. You're not just watching a takedown, you're witnessing a meltdown of nuclear proportions. Imagine hot takes so off the wall, they'd leave conspiracy theorists speechless and plot twists more tangled than a reality show written by caffeine-fueled squirrels. This isn't your average media scuffle. It's a riotous, unscripted spectacle that turns daytime TV into primetime chaos. Once Gutfeld and Tyrus let loose, you'll question everything you thought you knew about talk show turf war.
Girls. Whoopi, you know you're on the very wrong side of history even when the fake Republican disagrees with you. I haven't seen Whoopi wave her fingers like that since someone offered her a salad. But apparently that's a technique for summoning the demon associated with talking out of your ass. Even Alyssa couldn't tolerate the examples Whoopi made out of thin air, or since it's Whoopi, fat air.
Brace yourself, Gutfeld and Tyrus storm in like vulture sous chefs in a gourmet kitchen of chaos, knives sharpened and sarcasm sizzling. Their target? Whoopi's latest piping hot public take, served with a side of confusion. But they didn't just critique, they flambéed it. Every misstep was diced, every contradiction roasted. Think satirical surgeons with a flair for flair, drilling into the cavities of hypocrisy like comedy's most unforgiving dentists.
Whoopi Goldberg insisted that life in the U.S. is just as brutal as living in Iran. Well, in that case, lady, from now on, please cover your face.
First, they zeroed in on her delivery, an odd cocktail of Fox empathy and award-worthy theatrics. That signature Whoopi soft-serve voice, losing with performative hesitation, didn't stand a chance. It's less thoughtful nuance and more like vanilla ice cream, pretending to be caviar, sweet, but utterly predictable. Gutfeld and Tyrus rode that wave like satirical surfers, turning every breathy pause and hesitant maybe into a comedic symphony of second-guessing. Her uncertainty wasn't subtle, it was center stage, and they play it like a punchline wrapped in syrupy sincerity, drunk on its own importance.
First of all, I'd just like to say that for the many people that I have tied to cars, I never ask them about their sexuality. Never once.
And that's very progressive of you.
Yes, happy Pride Month. Listen, I love... Whoopi's right. I mean, it's been rough for us. I mean, you saw what just happened to me in the last segment. I'm trying to talk, and all the white people are like, oh, it's Tyrus, I can make a phone call. You know? And it's...
How did that make you feel?
I felt very black.
Did
Greg.
you feel black?
Yeah.
Liking what you see? Don't forget to subscribe and smash that bell icon so you don't miss a moment. Now, cue the logic meltdown. Gutfeld swooped in with razor-sharp sarcasm, delivering commentary like a late-night ninja, silent, swift, and devastating. He unraveled her argument with the flair of a carnival ride designer. All loops, no direction. Then Tyrus stepped up, stone-faced and surgical, breaking down her thought process like a docent in a gallery of grammatical confusion and conceptual chaos. Every statement felt like a dance, one step forward, two steps sideways, then a graceful stumble into oblivion. The result? A beautifully tangled mess, expertly unspooled and hilariously examined.
Gets the game ball. If it wasn't for her, if it wasn't for her asking that question, it might have been a closer election. But when oh no, nothing really comes to mind, I was like, cha-ching. Listen, they're bitter, they're angry, they're entitled. They also should be, this should have been a reset for everyone who pushed lies and misinformation for the last, they call them Hitler, they call these things, America rejected them. And instead of coming back and saying, we lied, instead of now doubling down. So let her keep doing it, because if she keeps that up, we're going to keep getting the Senate and probably the House and the White House, because people see right through your lies. So keep doing.
Then came the tone policing takedown, and it was mercilessly precise. Gutfeld channeled her slow, deliberately serious cadence with a kind of comedic sharpness that made it sound less like heartfelt commentary and more like she was narrating an IKEA instruction manual for assembling emotions. Every pause, every breathy pause for effect was mimicked to perfection, stripping the gravity from her words and replacing it with deadpan hilarity. Tyrus followed up with mock-serious gravitas, recapping her monologue like a teacher reviewing a confused essay. So let me get this straight. Your concern runs so deep, it loops back to I'm not sure. He paused, dead-eyed, that's deep, like a kiddie pool. The sarcasm was slow-dripped, DMV style, and twice as punishing. They zeroed in on the well-worn I'm speaking as someone concerned trope and elevated it to meme status. Gutfeld tossed it out like a viral catchphrase. Concerned, or camera concerned? Cue Tyrus with the kicker. It's like when your phone battery hits 2%, but you pretend you're not panicking. Then came the echo chamber roast. Her talking points, they argued, didn't just live online, they bounced off digital walls, grew louder, and came back sounding like they were shouted through a social media megaphone. Gutfeld sniffed out the recycled rhetoric like a bloodhound. You can smell the carbon footprint of that echo from here. Tyrus didn't miss a beat. It's like airing the same sock twice, still funky, still shocking anyone thinks it's worth re-airing. Finally, they tackled the inconsistencies. One moment she mourned this, the next she pivoted to that, a breadcrumb trail of emotional flip-flops. Gutfeld summed it up perfectly. It's like watching a plate spinner juggle guilt, empathy, and outrage. Something's gonna fall, and it's not going to be quiet.
Did you feel black?
Yeah, it's worth Tyrus. Malice just started snapping
By the way,
his fingers for you.
thank God black people don't do that in audiences.
Yes, yeah. No, we just talk the whole time and tell you how to do your show better. Oh, that's what I get paid to do. But it's only in America can a black person sit on a TV show getting paid millions and millions of dollars to have the floor and can say, it can interrupt people because she interrupted her.
Yeah.
And if according to her, life was like in Iran, it was for black people, her interrupting and speaking in public would have led to a stoning.
And just like that, it tumbled straight into their comedic vault of thematic faceplants. Tyrus sifted through the wreckage with a smirk. That fall, pure moral gymnastics. She's reaching for the gold, but she's landing like a sack of unresolved contradictions. Then came the deep dive into audience manipulation. Gutfeld painted a vivid scene. Imaginary spotlights flaring on with every carefully measured word. Her facial expressions updating like a buggy emoji app. Tyrus leaned in, miming the cycle. Concerned face, confused face, smug face. Repeat. The beauty? No direct takedown, just a mirror held up to the performance. This wasn't about meaning, it was about managing perception. Next on the chopping block, emotional appeal. Gutfeld mocked the soft on-camera, hard-on-nothing posture, likening her tone to that of a high school guidance counselor who just discovered existential dread is trending on TikTok. That's not guidance, he quipped, that's a push notification in human form. Tyrus added, when she said she's deeply troubled, I'm more troubled by the fact that it took her this long to notice anything. Then they broke down her dramatic arc. What started as a whisper of concern escalated into a frenzy, like an auctioneer losing track of their bids. Going once, going twice, full-blown meltdown, Gutfeld deadpanned. No reserve price necessary. Tyrus closed the loop. If you're going to demand attention, at least throw a pillow first. Right now, it's drama without the comfort.
It's become like a medical hospital that displays human misfailure. Like it's like here, let's look at this political oddity. You know, it's like it really is like the left-wing equivalent of a carnival sideshow, except instead of bearded ladies and fat clowns and two-headed cows. Well, let me rephrase that. But The View is a victim.
Next up in their satirical crosshairs, the metaphor marathon. She compared some nebulous issue to something vast and terrifying, an abstract monster lurking in plain sight. Gutfeld didn't let it slide. It's like comparing ants to hurricanes, he smirked, Sure, if your worldview is one giant picnic blanket. Tyrus doubled down, or if someone's aiming a magnifying glass at those ants, suddenly every minor detail gets napalmed like it's world ending. No need for direct quotes, just brutal, vivid imagery. Then they cranked the tempo. The pace picked up, the rhythm hit harder. Gutfeld started dropping punchy one-liners like darts. Here's Whoopi walking a tightrope of context, in clown shoes. Bam. Oh look, she stumbled again. Oh wait, never mind, that was her point. Kapow. From there, they rolled out a light-hearted roast, like building a wish list for public personas. If only she'd commit to one take and just write it out, Gutfeld mused. Cue imaginary tumbleweeds. It wasn't mean, it was a nod to how all over the place it felt. Tyrus added, consistency. She left that at home, right next to her backup plan. Midway through, they teased a tone shift, let's be real. But instantly undercut it. Let's be real. Watching someone pivot this hard in public feels like live editing a tweet mid-sentence, while the whole internet's watching.
You. It's like it's become like a medical hospital that displays human misfailure. Like it's like here, let's look at this political oddity. You know, it's like it really is like the left-wing equivalent of a carnival sideshow, except instead of bearded ladies and fat clowns and two-headed cows. Well, let me rephrase that. But The View is a victim.
Gutfeld leaned in with a smirk. Oh, we're capturing creativity on the fly. Must be Monday. Tyrus didn't miss a beat. Every social media meltdown starts with "let me be clear" and ends with "oops, that's not what I meant." As they approached the grand finale, the satire shifted into high gear. Fox Empathy entered the chat. Look, we get it, Gutfeld said, layering on that deadpan tone. Public life is hard. Maybe if I say this in a very serious voice, I'll sidestep the critique and sound profound. Instead, what followed was parody in its most polished form. Gutfeld opened the act, first team style. Tyrus followed, anchoring the roast like a closer in a blowout game. No rebuttal necessary. Their mock sympathy stung harder than any direct insult. They didn't end with a mic drop. Oh no. Gutfeld delivered the final jab with chilling calm. There's no mic left to drop. Then the quiet dagger. If your concern has no backbone, all you're doing is yelling in an empty room. Pause. Gutfeld. Next time, maybe bring a point. Tyrus. And a pulse. What followed was the sound of theatrical pretense collapsing. No applause, just the echo of sarcasm bouncing off the empty space Whoopi left behind. But Gutfeld and Tyrus weren't done, not even close. That was just the first drawer of satire. Now they reached into the second, where they kept the premium-grade sarcasm, dry-aged in irony, and garnished with a heaping spoonful of what even was that. Now it was time to confront the performance itself, the wide-eyed moral epiphanies, always perfectly timed for the camera. Tyrus broke it down like a derailed cooking show. Add 1 tablespoon of selective outrage, a pinch of conveniently delayed disappointment, stir in a monologue, and bake under hot studio lights until visibly stunned. And that visible stun, it was the final ingredient in the recipe of performative sincerity, served cold without warning.
You don't need to find Trumpers. You need to fire your race baiters.
Yeah.
You need to fire the 2 races. You've had people. You had a McCain on there. You've had people on there before, and you ran them off. Mm-hmm. So the racist ones who want to stick to this, Whoopi and Sonny, and was it Bette Midler? What's her name? Yeah, broke-ass Bette Midler. Fire them and bring people in. Maybe you could get McCain to come back. She was a Republican, but every show and every break, she was nearly in tears because she was being attacked. You have to go after the racist people. Be the CEO goes, you know what? I'm not going to allow a woman on my show or man that will go after white America and talk about them like dogs. That doesn't represent our ideals.
Gutfeld compared it to a buffering internet connection. Plenty of spinning, not much loading. You wait, expecting substance, and instead get the digital equivalent of elevator music for the mind. Then came the takedown of that carefully crafted gravitas, the kind of overly solemn delivery that insists this moment matters while offering revelations as deep as a puddle in a drought. Tyrus chimed in, saying it felt like an Oscar acceptance speech for a movie no one remembers, delivered by someone who forgot the script. All pathos, no plot, he said, shaking his head. Then came the pseudo-philosophy phase, the moment when Whoopi's musings took a gentle drift into abstract terrain. They hinted at profundity, but landed somewhere between vague and void. Gutfeld dubbed it the spiritual cousin of fortune cookies if they were ghost-written by bored interns. Tyrus raised a brow. You think she's got a random thought generator under the table? Today's monologue brought to you by Confusion, the official energy drink of performative punditry. And then, her transformation. From seasoned actress to self-appointed moral compass, Gutfeld dissected it with surgical satire. Somewhere between Hollywood and hot take highway, she swerved into ethical meteorology, predicting right and wrong with all the accuracy of a magic 8-ball. Tyrus added with mock reverence. She's not judging, of course, she's just observing, with intense, laser-focused judgment.
That's heroically stupid, even for The View. What did she think Hitler meant when he said master race, the 100-meter dash at the Berlin Olympics? So for the first time in The View's history, it's not about race, just some whites exterminating 6 million other whites. So what's the big deal? Her reasoning reminds me of the guy who looks at black-on-black crime and says, that's just them doing what they do. Of course, if that callous person were me or you, we would be canceled faster than a Tinder date with Andrew Cuomo. But thanks to liberal privilege, Whoopi hangs on, which is fine since she apologized, but not before digging an even deeper hole than the one in her head.
The noble victim complex, Gutfeld and Tyrus slid into that analysis like seasoned critics at an avant-garde theater show. They dissected that delicate high-wire act between being the misunderstood oracle and the reluctant truth-teller, all while basking in the glow of a spotlight they claim not to notice. Tyrus, ever the deadpan assassin, held up an imaginary Oscar. And the award for Best Dramatic Performance while pretending not to want attention goes to Whoopi Goldberg. Gutfeld followed with a dry quip. Oh no, she's exhausted. All that righteous effort, she may need to rest her virtue until the next episode airs. Then came the takedown of credibility inflation. The way she delivered her point, you'd think she personally solved world hunger, or at least global pessimism. Gutfeld didn't pull punches. It's like yelling into a canyon, and then applauding the echo like it's an encore. Tyrus pictured a TED talk where the teleprompter simply read, feel something. No coherent message, no problem, just pump up the pathos and trust the audience to project meaning onto the fog. They also flagged those peculiar pivots, moments where her commentary wandered off like a distracted GPS. Gutfeld likened it to opening the fridge and finding a paperback novel sitting on the eggs. Unexpected, slightly unsettling, and strangely passive-aggressive. Tyrus leaned in with a whisper. It's like her takes come with side quests. Finally, they zoomed in with surgical precision on her signature move, the vague yet weighty statement, so hollow and nondescript, it practically levitates into fog's depth. A perfectly polished word salad that says everything and nothing, all at once.
As dumb as the she just said. That she has an opportunity tomorrow. They won't fire her over that.
No.
She'll have an opportunity tomorrow to come on and fix it. Will she? She won't. But that's the thing about this country. Black, white, gay, straight, short, tall. Everyone's going to get hit with something. But the beauty about this country is there's always an opportunity for you to better yourself. So shame on you, Whoopi. Play the black card somewhere else because the don't work.
She's truly mastered a rare art form, saying absolutely everything and nothing, all in a single dramatic inhale. Tyrus, unfazed, chimed in. At this point, her opinions are like scented candles, pleasant aroma, no actual light. But the real punch came when they dissected the audience reaction, the performative nodding, the desperate scramble to look enlightened. Gutfeld deadpanned. People treat Whoopi's takes like modern art. If you don't understand it, that's just proof it's genius. Tyrus took it a step further, imagining an art gallery called Vague But Loud, complete with ambient sounds, fog machines, and echoing voiceovers, whispering things like, this matters, and you're brave for clapping. Next, they tackled the illusion of bravery in celebrity punditry. According to Gutfeld, Whoopi had boldly uttered what everyone else at the table already agreed with. A revolutionary act if your definition of revolution is reading the group chat out loud. Tyrus mockingly dabbed a tear. We will never forget her courage in echoing the obvious. They called it echo chamber gymnastics, twisting, flipping, and landing flawlessly in the applause zone without ever risking a dissenting thought. Then Gutfeld turned the spotlight on the myth of moral elevation by platform. Some folks talk like just being on camera grants you divine insight, like the gods of daytime TV blessed them with wisdom between commercial breaks. Tyrus added, taking moral cues from Whoopi is like trusting medical advice from someone who once wore scrubs in a rom-com. And when she summoned history into the discussion, oh, they pounced. Gutfeld quipped, it's like tossing a banana peel on a runway, random, disruptive, and someone's bound to slip trying to make sense of it.
Whoopi Goldberg. Iranians living under an oppressive regime don't really have it that bad. Despite all the human rights abuses, Iranians might actually have it better than black Americans.
And it's slow.
But let's just remember, too, the Iranians literally throw gay people off of buildings. They don't adhere to basic human rights.
Listen, here's the thing. Let's not do that, because if we start with that.
Okay, and no matter how hard the other hosts tried to reason with Whoopi Goldberg, reminding her of how women are treated in Iran, nothing would stop her from continuing one of the...
Gutfeld pointed out that Whoopi's historical references always hovered in that perfect gray zone, just vague enough to sound profound, yet never quite specific enough to be informative. It's like someone quoting Wikipedia aloud, he said, but only after skimming the first paragraph. Then they turned the spotlight on her delivery, the familiar cadence, the formulaic rise and fall of the Whoopi monologue. It starts in a haze of ambiguity, slides into a vague emotional appeal, and ends with a crescendo of theatrical overstatement, like a sermon written in fortune cookie script. Gutfeld quipped, it's like a symphony composed entirely of wind chimes. Some call it beautiful, but most just hear clatter. Tyrus nodded. If you've seen one dramatic Whoopi soliloquy, you've seen them all. Just swap the lighting and cue a different piano track. And just like that, round 2 wrapped, but the energy didn't die. Because once the logical limbs are popped and the performative parade deflates, something even stranger lingers. The awkward silence of those pretending none of it happened. That's when Gutfeld leaned back, smirked, and dropped the real punch. The magic isn't the takedown, it's watching everyone insist the Emperor's outfit is avant-garde.